Is there saying no to Vince?
Not while I was there, because you got to remember, this is one of one. WCW was in business when I got there, but they were done by 2000, 2001, whatever that was. So
Right.
there was only one game in town. And when I say one game, it's to make a living that you don't have to do something else, a six-figure living. And so if you're getting paid, let's say $500,000, you know that in the wrestling business, there's nowhere else you're going to go to make $500,000. And to be honest, to even make $100,000. And then you got to go to the independent circuit, and you might make a lot because you had a name in the WWE. But what happens is you got to grind it out, and you got to show up. And you got to work on commission, so to speak, every single weekend. And if you take off a weekend, guess what? You don't get paid. So there was no saying no, because those roles and those jobs were so hard to come by. And when you got to that level and the company was so red hot, I never said no to him except for once, and I got beat up for it. So there you go.
Figuratively, literally.
No, literally. 2005, we were doing tribute to the troops in overseas for a few years after 9/11. They could only take 30 people. Very limited, 18 talent, 12 cameramen, things of that nature. So everybody had a background check, et cetera, et cetera. And it was supposed to be optional because we're going to a war zone.
Right.
And so that particular year, I said yes. I went. I ended up wrestling Ric Flair in the middle of the desert. It was very cool. The next year, I get married, and then the next year, my wife at the time was pregnant with our daughter, who's now 16. And so this is December before my daughter's born in June. So my wife's about 3 months pregnant. And she was like, I don't want to go through the anxiety of knowing you're going to be in a war zone. So I would prefer if you didn't go. Very, very fair. Very fair.
Sure. Of course.
And so I told them, hey, I'm not going. And because I had never said no to them, they thought I was joking. Literally, we showed up that morning. We would have a guy out back. He would take your bags. They would have to go. So by the time you got onto the plane that night, all your bags had been, with the dogs and the scan and all that stuff. So they're waiting. They're like, where are your bags? I said, I told you I was not going. We thought you were kidding. You never said no. I said, at what point did you think that this face was kidding about going to Afghanistan? So they didn't like that very much. And I didn't go. And so they had to scramble because you had a spot open. So I believe it was Chris Masters that ended up taking my spot on last minute notice. The following week, I'm out of commentary, and Undertaker ended the show, and Earl Hebner, one of the referees, came over. A lot of it's I'll be honest, a lot of it's very hazy because it was, over 17 years ago. But I knew, he goes, go attack the Undertaker. I knew what was going on. And it was Vince's way of punishing me, which was complete bullshit. Because at that point, we're now talking 7 years of blind loyalty. And so I went and I hit the Undertaker, which made no sense whatsoever. But we were off the air, and you always wanted to send the crowd home happy. And I was kind of a heel at that time. And so I knew, okay, he's going to be able to stand behind the, wait a second, I was trying to let them go home happy. When the truth of the matter was that he was just angry and wanted to make me pay. And Undertaker even apologized to me as he was beating me up. Because a lot of the guys are really good about, you talk in the ring, you get really good at talking out of the side of your mouth. So I took it, and I took a couple other finishes from other guys. But that was the moment that I knew I can't be here anymore if this is what's going to happen after I have children or after I have a family. And then I'd also seen what the wrestling business had done to other families. The divorce rate is very, very high. And so that was kind of the moment that I decided I need to have an exit strategy. So that's when I started, chasing after sports jobs. And so I had a couple of gigs in 2007 and 2008 before I left MSG Network, doing some small college basketball stuff. And that led to ESPN ultimately.
It's like you've already been to high school. Why
Thank
go
you.
through it again, right?
100%. It was bullshit. And if you watch the documentary that was on Netflix, some of the guys will talk about it. Some of the guys will acknowledge it. But if they were in a safe space and they were in a space where there was no repercussions, even in their minds, because they still, even though Vince is gone, there's still a lot of them like, wait a second, if I say anything, I may get kicked out of the wrestling business. I may be blackballed. And there's a lot of them that aren't like me. I had the ability, thank goodness, to go somewhere else and do real sports. There's only a few of us. Rock, Jericho has done a lot of stuff. Myself, Cena. And I'm not saying I'm on their level. What I'm saying is there was other things at a high level that I was able to do. If you have certain guys, I mean, look at Ric Flair, for example. I mean, he's still out there doing stuff at 78, 79 years old. Is Ric Flair going to go to a bank and say, hey, I want to work here 9 to 5? Of course not. You can't do that. And so there's some guys that need the wrestling business forever. Thank God. I'm still in the wrestling business. I talk about it because I'm an expert in it. Anybody that says I'm not doesn't know anything about being in the wrestling business. I spent almost 13 years in the WWE at the highest level. And so that's why I'm not real big fans of wrestling fans. I don't need their respect. And a lot of us will say the exact same thing. But any of us that spend any amount of time and traveling up and down the roads 52 weeks a year for a decade or more, you would like the respect of at least listening to our point of view because we've been there. I've been in the meetings. I've been in all of the meetings with the agents. And I didn't see any dirt sheet writers in those meetings. I didn't see any dirt sheet writers backstage to even be able to listen to a Vince, to an Arn Anderson, to a Fit Finlay, to any of these guys who literally helped pave the way for what the wrestling business is. And that's the only respect that I want to get.
Coach, plug your stuff.
We got a lot going on right now as far as wrestling business. You see behind me, behind the turnbuckle. It's a brand that's really expanding. We've got a show Monday nights at 10 o'clock, right after Raw, whenever that's going to end now for Netflix. But we also do interviews. I do a show with Vince Russo called The Coach and Bro Show. That is also all that's on the same YouTube page. We're getting ready to announce these shows will be on a bigger platform starting very soon. Excited about that. And then we have a sports betting brand, Driving the Line. It's every day at 10 a.m. Eastern time, also on YouTube, but also we're on Amazon Prime, we're on DirecTV, YouTube TV, and that is 7 days a week. We're live 6 days a week on demand on Saturdays. So heavy in the world of sports betting and wrestling, and then I do PFL and the PGA Tour. So with all of that, I'm very, very busy, but I'm very grateful that as the media business has evolved, we've been able to evolve with it. And it's not just me. I've got a team. I've got a lot of good people around me, and we're going to see where we go. I feel like I have about 25 good years left, and I want to use them to do good things with good people and for good people. That's all I care about. I don't need any me stuff anymore. It's got to be about growing the brands and doing it the right way and having fun doing it. Because one thing I've realized through my wrestling career, through my family, is that we have no idea how long we're going to be able to do this stuff, whether it's not even just staying alive, but being able to be in this business and do this content and have people want to watch it or listen to it or be able to do, you and I, we've taken a few months to make this happen, but this is very enjoyable for me. And to me, that's what life's all about. And I've never understood the whole, hey, I'm here or you're here. We're all just breathing human beings that like the wrestling business or like sports. And that's all we try to do. And that's all I try to do every single day.